The next version of the Retroid Pocket has been revealed and looks to pack a serious punch. The Retroid Pocket 4 comes in two flavours. The basic model comes equipped with the Dimensity 900 chipset, 4GB of RAM, and will retail at $149 at launch, while the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro utilises the more advanced Dimensity 1100 chipset and comes in at $199. To put those chipsets in perspective, the Dimensity 900 was featured in 2020's Samsung Galaxy M51 mobile phone, and the Dimensity 1100 in 2021's Xiaomi Poco X3 GT. That's a mouthful. Both are considered budget offerings, but are more than enough for old-school emulation potential. No release date of yet has been mentioned, but Retroid did say launch details will arrive at a later date. As for the colours, you'll be able to grab the Retroid Pocket 4 in white, black, turquoise, red, and grey. There's also a model in the style of the ugly North American SNES colours. You know the one. Let's take a look at what's powering the devices. For the CPUs, Retroid has gone with different configurations for each model. The Retroid Pocket 4 base version uses an octa-core processor with two ARM Cortex A78 cores clocked at 2.4 GHz and 6 A55 cores at 2.0 GHz. For the Pocket 4 Pro, things are a little more powerful. It's still an octa-core processor, but here you've got two sets of 4 A78 cores that are clocked in at a meteor's 2.6 GHz. I like making things easy to understand here, as you know, so to put these differences into perspective, think of the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro as being considerably faster when processing apps or software than the base model. I've already covered the RAM, but it bears repeating anyway. 4GB for the base model, 8GB for the Pro model. Both versions will use DDR4. One thing I must note for anyone watching this, I'm of the mindset Android devices need a minimum of 4GB of RAM to work, and if you want them to work well, then it's 8GB minimum. There are exceptions to that rule, but on the whole, that's how I always look at retro handhelds. 4GB is fine, 8GB is what you're after, especially when it comes to Android. For both versions, the internal storage is capped to 128GB, though there is space for an SD card if you happen to have a lot of ROMs or games you want to transfer over. Moving on to the DisplayPort output, the base model doesn't feature one. The Pro model, however, can output up to 1080p over a Type-C connector, and if you need to, both models are capable of HDMI output at 720p. Lastly, connectivity sees both models make use of Bluetooth 5.2 and Wi-Fi 6. As for the battery, that comes in at 5000 mAh, which is 500 mAh higher than the previous model. Not bad, eh? With now 4 different Retroid Pockets out there, it's worth taking a minute to talk about how the latest model compares to the previous version. Over on the official Discord channel, a Retroid representative said that the screen remains the same as the Pocket 3, so that's a 4.7-inch touchscreen at 450 nits. Basically, in terms of visuals, everything will look very similar, but performance is where the big changes happen, specifically RAM and processing power. The Retroid Pocket 3 ran with 2 A75 cores alongside 6 A55 cores at 2.0 GHz. RAM was also maxed out at 4GB. That means the base Pocket 4 has a slight boost by swapping out 2 A75 cores for 2 A78s clocked at 2.4 GHz. That amount won't be instantly noticeable, but given the price is still relatively low at $149, I'd say that's a pretty nice little boost. As for the Pocket 4 Pro model, that's where things get good. Instead of being locked into 4GB of RAM, you've got a more luscious 8GB. Likewise, the cores have also seen a big upgrade. That's a pretty big leap and almost certain to help when it comes to emulating the newer, more powerful systems. The GPU upgrade is also something I'm impressed by. The Retroid Pocket 3 uses the Mali G52 M2, which released back in 2018, making it a fine choice, but also fairly dated. On the newer side of things, the Retroid Pocket 4 base model goes with the Mali G68 MC4 that came out 2 years later in 2020. For the Retroid Pocket 4 Pro, Retroid has decided to go with the Mali G77, which is the same chipset you'd find in the Xiaomi Poco M5S. To put that in more emulation terms, up to Dreamcast and some PS2 should be possible. In theory, anyway. There's no two ways about it. This is a solid upgrade. The goal with new iterations is always to make them more powerful than the previous generation, and Retroid has done just that. The design remains the same for the most part, but that isn't always a bad thing. What is worth remembering before you get your hopes up, not all emulators support the Dimensity chipsets. Yuzu in particular really struggles to work with those chipsets. But for up to Dreamcast and some PS2 though, that's where this device should shine. It's the pricing that always surprises me with Retroid handhelds. Neither of the new devices are cheap as the budget offerings like the Anbernic RG Arc D, but the price difference is only around $60 for the base Pocket 4, which in terms of specs and power should outright beat the Arc D. Obviously, I can't recommend the Retroid Pocket 4 without going hands-on, but if you're looking for a new retro handheld to keep an eye on, this is definitely it. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like, and if you'd like to subscribe, that'd be awesome. Until next time, see ya.